Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, who's the best TV mom? Also, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a bear or a stranger? All that and more on the way next. Welcome to the Hudson Show from RadioU. A great episode on the way. We're kicking it off with Nene joining me.
We here in the business. We crash in the Hudson Show.
Yeah, and there's more Nene on the way. We've got a food fight in here, so that's going to be good. But Nene, I brought you in here too because Tesla's been back in the news.
Yay, let's go. I love me a good Tesla.
When Tesla's in the news, it's never for good reason.
How? They just came out with the Cybertruck. What's the matter?
Well, the Cybertruck, I don't know if you've seen the Cybertruck. They have what is called a frunk, which is a trunk.
What the heck is a frunk?
A frunk is a trunk in the front.
How I like it. That's genius. Elon Musk is a genius.
Yeah, but what people have been doing with the frunk is using it to chop stuff because it's so like it auto closes within a force that it can like chop vegetables and hot dogs. But then some people are like, wait, that sounds dangerous. And a guy put his finger like in the frunk as it closed to prove that like, oh, this is safe. It almost broke his finger. Like it messed it up.
Well, that's not Elon's fault, and that ain't Tesla's fault. That's his fault.
That's not what
that dummy. What's he doing?
That's what the frunk was meant for. That's not the only issue that is causing people bodily harm. Another guy, and this was a complete accident, but the door of the Cybertruck closed on it, like it hit his leg as it closed.
Oh,
massive gash in his thigh or in his calf.
Ooh, that does not sound good.
I don't know if it was bad enough like for hospitalization, but bad enough that it looked pretty bad.
Well, hey, I don't have a picture of it. I don't know what it looks like. It sounds bad, but if he wants to get rid of his Tesla, I'll gladly take it off his hands.
You'll take the risk?
Yeah, of course I will.
What's crazy is I feel like that's not even the biggest risk. We've seen a lot of other issues, but as long as you don't use the self-driving part, even though it's the big draw of it, as long as you don't use that, I think you should be fine. You keep your fingers out of the frunk. You don't close the door on your leg, and you don't use the self-driving, and then it's actually a pretty safe vehicle.
Yeah, I like it. And it'll self-drive for you and everything. Now I just need to find my apartment complex that has like a charger for it too. That's one thing I completely forgot about wanting a Tesla. My friend was like, Nene, how are you going to charge that thing? I was like, oh, I forgot. I don't have a charger for that yet.
You don't have a charger. Forget about doing long road trips through Nebraska because they don't. They just don't.
Yeah. I would have to plan my entire road trip based off of where the next Tesla supercharger's at.
I think sometimes you have to like make a circle. You have to circle around an entire like area that you could just drive through normally if you had any other car because you have to make sure you hit chargers. So.
Dang, at that point, why even have a vacation?
Yeah, the vacation is charging your Tesla.
The vacation is owning the Tesla. Yeah. Every day is a vacation.
It is the Hudson Show. What's the coolest change you've ever pulled off in a day? 24 hours. The biggest difference you've ever made. If you've got a good answer to that, let me know. My phone number, 8772 RadioU. And I think like it's actually hard when you think about it to do something in an overnight switch up that would have, people raising their eyebrows being like, whoa, I saw you yesterday and now I saw you today and way different. Like what? Getting a haircut, shaving off your facial hair. That's about the extent of it. The biggest change you could pull off overnight. And yet, when it comes to bigger life scenarios, like stuff that is an issue in your life, sometimes it feels like it has to change. Like things get bad, they have to change overnight. Like if you've got some kind of addiction, it's not good enough to be like, well, eventually down the line, I'm going to fix it. It's you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be like, no, this has to end today. And look, ideally it could. If you've been doing drugs, drinking, porn, like whatever your thing is, yeah, ideally you could go to sleep tonight and then wake up tomorrow and never have an issue with it again. But the truth is that's not how it works. And God knows that. Jesus knows that change doesn't usually happen overnight. Some people get lucky, some people fortunate, things work out, or they just have a different mindset and they can do it. But by and large, change takes time. But God isn't mad at you because this thing that you've been dealing with for a while isn't going to go away overnight. You've been trying to stop and it's not working. God wants to help you deal with it over time, because it's going to take time. Jesus is going to be there with you every day to help you deal with it and not get upset with you because you didn't kick it overnight. If you want that help, if you want that assistance, if you want that love and that grace from God, all you need to do is ask for it. Say, hey, Jesus, I know things need to change. I'm not living the way I want to be, but I want your help with it. And I want to know that you're there working with me, and he will. RadioU.com/free gift. That's a great place to look if you want some more help. Today's Would You Rather Wednesday is a viral debate that's been going on for the last few days, and that is, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a stranger or a bear? The original question goes back to, if you're a woman, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a man that you don't know or a bear? The thought is that any random man could be much more dangerous than any random bear. Regina says, I will go bear. Hopefully it's one I can essentially hide from, and you can pretty much tell what bears are going to do. It's really hard to know what a stranger will do and if they pose a threat, especially if you're a woman. So that answer makes a lot of sense. However, we also heard from Amanda, who says, I'm going to go stranger. Most people seem to be nice. What are the odds you get stuck in the woods with a violent attacker? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the actual data on that. I don't know what it says, but I also think I agree with Regina here that bears, it does depend on the bear, but bears you can hide from, you can avoid. Where if you do happen to get the bad luck of the draw and you've got a violent attacker, just any person who could be a criminal, there's the one person you're stuck with. They're a human. They're smarter. They're more likely, I feel like, to be able to do something heinous towards you, where a bear, like, you just know what they're going to do. We also heard from Dan, who says he's definitely going a stranger. He feels like that he'd be safer with a stranger than a bear. Okay. And then we heard from Eric, who is going with bear because a bear is more predictable. Yet again, to me, I think, obviously the danger aspect is one side of it, but if you think about it from more of like a just what's going to be uncomfortable perspective too, I would definitely take a bear, because you don't know that stranger. Hey, maybe they're not a criminal. Maybe they're not going to attack you. I mean, what would be their motivation anyways? But what are the odds that you get a stranger that's just really annoying to be around? Because if you get stuck with me, you're going to be regretting it. You're going to wish you had chosen bear, is all I'm going to say. Because I'm going to ask you, another thing is, you could have somebody who is going to depend on you to save them. Yet again, like me, I'm going to be like, please help me. Start us a fire. Help us find shelter, whatever. You don't want to be stuck with me in the woods. There's a trend that's been going around online. That is putting pickles in your Dr. Pepper. It's gotten so popular, in fact, that some Sonic workers are reporting multiple people ordering this in a single day, which is absolutely crazy to believe. Apparently, somebody posted about it a few days ago. It started taking off in the pickle community. There's pickle Facebook groups, which all sounds insane to me. And now it's gotten to the point where people are just ordering it at restaurants. Like, it's a normal thing to do. Look, I don't have as big a problem with the Dr. Pepper with pickles in it. Like, if that's what you like, if you've discovered that that's good for you, then you do you. For me, it's definitely not for me. Personally, I think Dr. Pepper is nasty. I don't see how pickles could make it any worse. But I just know. I know it's not for me. But what I do wonder, what is questionable to me that I don't understand, is when you like something, you like a certain food, and then you're like, let me see which other unrelated foods I can put this in. Why do you need to? Who was testing out the pickles with the Dr. Pepper? Having pickles on their own and fried pickles and like all pickles on burgers, all the different normal places you'd put pickles, that wasn't enough for you? You had to find another way to get your pickle fix? Like, that's what's concerning to me. What could a movie theater do to get you to go back to the theater more often? Attendance has definitely dropped off, so how can movie theaters get you back in the door? Robert says it's not the theater. Hollywood isn't making quality movies anymore. And I think that's a fairly common opinion. I'm looking here at the survey where this question was actually asked in a survey. The whole reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't think I really buy the answers people were giving in the survey. But they did not ask better movies. That was not one of the options, it seems here. I do wonder, though, because I go to the movie theater every once in a while. How often am I disappointed by a movie? Like, it's not that much. So I don't know if maybe we're not being fair in that way. Regina says cheaper tickets, of course. But that was not the number one answer in this survey. Cheaper tickets actually came in all the way down at number 6. What? You crazy? Tickets are so expensive, especially if you don't go on the one discount night. If your theater has that, how can anybody afford it? Which is also basically what Susanna said. And we also heard from Glenn, who said, make better movies. All right, first of all, the movie theaters are in charge of that. Second of all, I think we have addressed that. But I did hear from Danielle, and she actually has agreed with what the top answer of the survey was, which is cheaper concessions. Yes, the food is too expensive. I'm 100% with you on that. In fact, probably the top reason that I don't go to my classic movie theater anymore that I used to, they would do $5 Tuesdays, which they raised to $6, which is fine. I can deal. I'm not that cheap. I can do an extra $1. But they stopped doing free popcorn for rewards members on Tuesdays. That was the last straw for me. You're telling me you can't afford to give me some free popcorn one day a week when probably the least people come anyways. You're just throwing it out at the end of the night, or perhaps worse, keeping it around for the next day, just recycling it. Just give me some for free. That was the number one answer. Number 2 was more movie coupon nights, which I guess goes with the cheaper tickets. Number 3, comfier seating. Maybe that depends on your area. Most of the theaters around me anyways, the ones I go to, the seats aren't that bad, although some of them do smell bad. I don't know. I just didn't buy that the people didn't care about the ticket prices. They were so low on the list. But also, it seems the RadioU audience not appreciating the quality of movies being put out. You know, I always feel stupid this time of year and every time of year. But no, I always feel stupid this time of year as a hockey fan if I miss out on if there's a playoff game I skip watching because nevertheless, no matter what, there's always something amazing that happens in an NHL playoff hockey game. For example, last night, if you missed either of the games that went on, the Canucks came back from a 3-1 deficit to defeat the Oilers. So that was pretty impressive. And then in the Bruins versus Panthers game, David Pastrnak and Matthew Tkachuk got into a fight. If you're not a hockey fan, those are like the 2 biggest stars on each of their teams. That's like if Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow got into fisticuffs, which would obviously be awesome. So if you missed out on NHL playoff hockey last night, you were missing out. But I also saw this in NHL news, and that is the Arizona Coyotes. They're moving to Utah for next season. It was announced that they are going to be just simply known as Utah for the next hockey season, but they will rename themselves. They've released the 20 finalists for names for what they might name the team. Some of the options: Blizzard, Caribou, which that's pretty cool, Hive, Mammoth, Powder, Venom, Yeti. I mean, they've got some good choices, but then I saw this one too, Hockey Club. Listen, Utah, you better not. We are not naming your team the Utah Hockey Club. This is America, and in America, we give our teams real names like Powder. We are in the midst of useless knowledge. Today's useless knowledge revolves around the 2011 film Zookeeper, starring Kevin James and Rosario Dawson. It's her birthday today. She's turning 45. Your useless knowledge question of the day: in the 2011 film Zookeeper, which now well-known podcaster appeared as the main antagonist in the film? Lots of guesses coming in, including Stacy, who said Dax Shepard. It's a good recall that you remember him being an actor, but of course that is incorrect. We also heard from Jonathan, who said, is it Conan O'Brien? No, it was not. It was not Conan O'Brien, but we did have a few people getting in correctly, including Tim, who said, of course, the answer is possibly the most well-known podcaster of all, Joe Rogan. An excellent job by those who got it right. And talking of the 2011 film Zookeeper, do you care that the 2011 film Zookeeper, starring Kevin James and Rosario Dawson, made $169.8 million at the box office despite receiving mostly negative reviews from critics? was a different time back then in 2011. Well, that's useless knowledge. This information has been helpful to nobody, and it really was a waste of everyone's time. Forbes Home just put out their list. They ranked the 50 most populous cities in the United States on which is the best to move to in 2024. And I'm proud to report that both Oklahoma City and Columbus cracked the top 10. They each received high scores of being able to listen to RadioU on the radio there. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with the number one city being Omaha, Nebraska, which received a perfect score. Omaha, the perfect city to move to in 2024, according to Forbes Home. That's questionable. It's time for Love 'em or Leave 'em. If you've ever got a relationship dilemma that you need some help with, not just myself, but the RadioU listeners as well, ready to help you out. So you can always send it in to 877-2-RADIO-U or email hudson@radiou.com. Today's dilemma comes from a woman who says, I can't stand corn. I hate it. The taste and the texture. If there's corn in a dish, the flavor overpowers everything, and I straight don't like it. My husband cooked dinner, and it was seriously delicious. Grilled shrimp, mashed potatoes, mixed veggies. Can't hide money. As you can guess, there was corn in the mixed veggies. So I made a small area on my plate, put the bits of corn there. I never did anything gross like take them out of my mouth, but I made sure there was none on my fork before eating each forkful. And if there was, I would clear my fork, pick out the corn with the fork, and then try again. So a 2-fork situation going on here. My husband got so mad and said I didn't appreciate his cooking. I told him the food was delicious, but it's not an unknown fact that I don't like corn. It's not my fault he added it into the vegetables. I guess he should have known better. And now he's complaining, saying he's not going to make dinner anymore. So I have to know, is it this big of a deal that I picked out something that he should know I don't like? This is tough. The pettiness on this one. Who's in the wrong? What do we do here? How do we resolve this? 8772-RADIO-U. Some awesome responses. I love what Haley says. She says it's perfectly acceptable to not eat a food you don't like. Thank goodness. Is he on the board of the Corn Council of America? What kind of guy would get their feelings hurt because somebody doesn't enjoy corn? I mean, it's hard for me to imagine not liking corn out of all the things to not like, but hard to disagree with Haley on that one. Then we heard from Sheena. Sheena, you may remember, has appeared on this show before as a relationship expert. She knows what she's talking about. She says maybe the husband did it on purpose so he wouldn't have to cook anymore. That feels actually reasonable. And it's so reasonable, in fact, that Robert said the exact same thing and also said, obviously, he's at fault knowing how much he dislikes corn. That's true. Or think about this. What's worse? He did it on purpose, or he just was neglectful in doing it because he knows she doesn't like corn, or that he doesn't realize, he didn't know. They've been married for who knows how long. He didn't know she doesn't like corn. That could be even worse. Tim said the husband is being dramatic. She was polite about it. I tend to agree with you, Tim. Susanna says the husband's more wrong, but they both need to grow up a little. I mean, isn't that the case in just about every relationship? I am not going to fault anybody for not liking food, and she sounds like she was polite about it, so sliding it off to the side, I don't think that's that big of a deal. She's off the hook for me. The husband, grow up a little bit. You don't need to get your feelings hurt because somebody doesn't like corn. It's official. The Office is coming to Peacock, as in The Office spin-off show. We already knew it was going to star Domhnall Gleeson and Sabrina Impacciator. Now we know that it's coming to Peacock. We even have a description of the show. Official from Peacock. It says the documentary crew that immortalized Dunder Mifflin's Scranton branch is in search of a new subject when they discover a dying historic Midwestern newspaper and the publisher trying to revive it with volunteer reporters. So definitely, obviously, very tenuously related to The Office. I mean, it's made by the same creator, Greg Daniels, and the documentary crew is the same, even though you never really see the documentary crew in The Office. I mean, hardly at all. So it's The Office, but it's not really The Office, right? Which could mean that could be good or it could be bad. But I mean, I guess this is why Peacock thinks they can go ahead and raise their prices this summer. And it's time for a food fight. Nene is here with me.
We're back again, baby.
Yeah.
It is time for us to try. What is this?
Dr. Pepper with pickles. No,
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Unless you want to do that, we can't do it today. I don't have Dr. Pepper, but that is. Have you seen that? That's going around online.
Who's having Sprite with pickles?
No, Dr. Pepper with pickles.
Oh, I'll take Dr. Pepper, but not with no pickles though.
No, I'd rather have the pickles than the Dr. Pepper, if I'm being honest. But that's not what we're here for.
Oh.
We are here for Sprite Chill, which is cherry lime Sprite.
You know, last time I checked, I feel like Sprite is anything but chill. You ever had McDonald's Sprite before, Hudson?
Yeah.
McDonald's Sprite reminds me of something that should have its own spot on the periodic table of elements. I feel like I just get awakened every time I have Sprite. So chill is the last thing that I would use to describe this thing.
No,
So what is this?
You're right. The McDonald's Sprite attacks you. This is cherry lime Sprite, and one thing you'll notice here is that, well, if you could see it, if you're listening on the radio, is that it actually has a different, it's like cloudier than regular Sprite, because you have regular Sprite there.
Exactly. So this is the regular Sprite right here, which honestly, if you look at from afar, they don't look any different, but there's a lot more density in the Sprite Chill, which honestly, it still looks like carbonated water to me, but you know what? We'll give them a shot.
It actually looks like, to me, it always looks like it's cold, even if it's not cold, I think. It's what it's meant to be. It looked like condensation on it, but it is cold. I did make it cold.
It better be cold because I'm not drinking Sprite. Who drinks Sprite that isn't cold?
Oh, that sounds no good. And also apparently there's a zero version, but I couldn't find that. So this is full calorie Sprite Chill, which is cherry lime Sprite.
Zero version is the cheating version anyways. Oh, so he's going to try it now, the density? Okay, I should probably give this a shot
Okay,
too.
first thing before I tasted it, it smells so good.
Oh, does it?
Smell it.
Okay, it definitely smells like cherry lime.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm pretty sure that's what the actual thing is. Okay, let's go.
Actually, it doesn't bite you. It is kind of chill because it doesn't bite you like a Sprite does.
It doesn't like explode on me like I expected. You know what? I think I can try the regular now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the chill it's like not as carbonated, but not in a bad way. But the cherry lime flavor, it's not too intense either. So which is better now that you've had both?
Honestly, at this point, I'm still going to rock with the regular Sprite. It's not like the Sprite Chill is bad or anything, but like cherry lime, I'm not 100% on. If it was there instead of regular Sprite, I would drink it. But I'm going to just stick with the regular. I don't have any strong feeling towards either one of these. Like, it just seems like they added some flavoring to a Sprite. So if you're down for it, you're looking for something during the summer, go ahead and try Sprite Chill. It's honestly kind of chill now that I think about it.
Yeah, I definitely I don't like regular Sprite all that much. I would only ever get it from McDonald's. I wouldn't just get a Sprite normally. But I think the cherry lime is better. And I'm interested. I'd like to try the zero version if I could find it, because that's more me. I got to stay in shape, Nene. So I'll be on the lookout for that, but it's okay. It's okay. It's chill.
The regular Sprite is starting to wake me up now. I'm starting to feel it. You know, we got this here in the morning. You know, I'm starting to feel it. Now I should probably add some breakfast to this to have a nutritionally balanced breakfast.
Oh, you go do that. At RadioU, Midland in Michigan, a woman has been caught. She was living in a grocery store sign on the roof for supposedly about a year. This was at the Family Fair in Midland, Michigan, where contractors were up on the roof when they discovered a extension cord running in to inside to the back side of one of the Family Fair signs. They followed the cord and found that a woman had an extensive living space. They call her the rooftop ninja, that she had set up inside this sign on the top of the building. Apparently, she had been living there for up to a year. She had furniture in there, which I am very who helped her out with that? Because getting furniture on a roof at a grocery store that surely has like security cameras and stuff. I guess if they didn't have a reason to go back and check the security cameras. But she had been living there for a while. I think it's nice of the store and the people around the police department. They offered her services to help her find an actual real living space to live, and she declined that. The store isn't pressing charges, and they let her keep her furniture, which I also appreciate. She even had a house plan in there. So she really made herself at home, which it's one of those, I'm not even mad. I'm just kind of impressed. Although we have all these details, there's no photos, which I am really sad about. Like, what if it actually is like pretty cool to just live up on a grocery store roof? She was pulling a Chuck Mangione on this place. I have to have a little respect for her. But now she's going to have to drive a little further to get her groceries. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, let me know what you think about this at 8772 Radio U. It was announced yesterday, earlier this week, that another Lord of the Rings movie is coming from Warner Brothers. It's going to be called The Hunt for Gollum, coming in 2026. It's going to be a Gollum prequel movie directed by Andy Serkis. He will reprise, not only will he direct, he'll also reprise his role as Gollum, of course, from the Lord of the Rings movies that so many people know and love. Now, I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings guy. Many know that I'm just not into movies that are like fairies and archery and riding horses and chainmail and whatever. But even to me, this feels like, is this really what people want? It feels to me like if you were making a new Star Wars movie and you were going to make it a prequel about Jar Jar Binks. Like, who actually wants to see that, especially carrying an entire movie? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Lord of the Rings heads much more into this idea. Let me know. 8772 Radio U. Nene joining me once again.
Hello. I
Nene.
have made it here. What am I looking at right now? Is that ketchup?
I've taken a bottle of ketchup out of the fridge. Is this yours?
No, it's okay. So there's a difference. I'm going to educate you on ketchup here for you. You are holding a giant bottle of Hunt's ketchup.
100% natural, it says.
100% natural. The best ketchup on planet Earth comes from Heinz and Heinz only. Therefore, you are not going to see me touch that bottle of ketchup.
So you bring your own ketchup, but it's not in the fridge.
I ran out, okay?
Oh, that doesn't sound
ran
like
out.
you. Well, I'm going to educate you on ketchup as well, because I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is a trick that's going around, but I'm sure how would you, is this how you would squeeze a ketchup bottle this way, the way I'm holding it?
Yeah, the normal way. Like
your hands on the labels.
Anybody else on planet Earth would squeeze a ketchup bottle.
Your hands on the labels. So when you do it that way, you get kind of that lazy stream of ketchup.
Yeah.
But I've just learned that you're supposed to hold it from the sides. And so if you squeeze it from the sides, check this out. You squeeze it. Nothing's coming out.
Bro, nothing's even coming out.
TikTok. No, but then, okay, so you squeeze it from the side and then it keeps coming. And that's supposed to be the better way to squeeze ketchup for some reason. That's how the bottles were designed to be used. But I'm seeing this now. I feel like I'm just wasting ketchup because a lot is coming out. This is not the right way to do it.
Well, it's Hunt's ketchup, so you can waste as much as you would like to. However, I think I'm still going to squeeze the bottle the same way that I've done my entire life.
I feel like I failed you and everyone.
It's all right. TikTok failed you.
That's right.
That's what really happened.
Forgive me here. I just think it's still hilarious that I had Nene come in here early just so I could show him how to squeeze a ketchup bottle. And the trick didn't even work. You know what? Happy Mother's Day weekend to all the moms out there. Of course, we want to extend here on the Hudson Show a hearty Happy Mother's Day. Hope you get some rest and relaxation if you're a mom, and make sure if you're, everyone has a mom, that you treat them right this weekend if you can. I do have a question, though. A question that may be appropriate for the RadioU hotline. And that is, obviously, there's lots of great moms in each of our lives. But what about on TV? If you had to pick the best TV mom, if you had to replace your mom with a mom from TV, which mom would you want it to be? 877-2 Radio U. Let me know your thoughts. I'll tell you, starting off with this question, I'm going to have to do some research because I don't know if I have one that instantly comes to mind as like, oh, that's a great mom. Of course, should have known somebody would say this. Stacy chiming in saying chili from Bluey. You're not going to get through any discussion of a happy family on TV without somebody mentioning Bluey. So that's a good answer. We also heard from Kyle, who said Joyce from Stranger Things. That's actually a pretty good one. I feel like sometimes she can be a little much, but then again, her son's stranded in the Upside Down. Like, of course, I don't know. And then she moves across. I don't know. But I guess you can find flaws with just about everybody. We also have Amanda. Oh, I like this. She says, my 7-year-old said, none. I would want to keep you. Well, that must mean that you're a good mom. I thought about this for a second. I've done some looking up, and I didn't see this person come up on the list, but I think it's my answer, and that is, and I don't know her name, but the mom from Kim Possible. If you ever seen Kim Possible, the mom, smart. I think she's a doctor. She might be a doctor. Either way, smart. Very supportive of Kim Possible, too. So that's the best one I could think of so far. We're talking best TV moms, Mother's Day this weekend. Don't forget to celebrate with your mom. But if you had to go ahead and replace your mom with a TV mom, who would it be? Some more good answers coming in, like Jacob, which this is a good answer. Linda from Bob's Burgers. She's fun. I don't know. She'd be a lot to live with if she was raising you. But I mean, a lot of our moms are a lot to live with. Linda would be a little over the top, though. But she's a good mom. Aaron chimed in yet again. This is another classic answer. You're never going to get through a conversation about anything to do with TV without mentioning Modern Family. Aaron says Claire from Modern Family, or Sheldon's mom from Young Sheldon. I'll take your word for that one. I'll also take Angela's word for, I'm not sure how to say this. I know it's Gilmore Girls. Lorelai. I don't know how you say it. I'm not a much of a Gilmore head. And then, of course, yet again, another classic TV show. And that is Brad saying Marge from The Simpsons. She's actually a pretty good answer. I think what I'm realizing is the moms in TV, much like moms in real life, it feels like a thankless job. They don't get all the credit they deserve. If we did TV dads, we could have this conversation forever. But TV moms, they just don't get the attention, the credit they deserve. They kind of play the background, take care of everybody, and don't get a lot of attention for it. So if that's you, if you're a mom today or this weekend, well, we want to thank you all the time for all that you do. This is a real treat. My Epic has new music out now, a new album coming soon, and Aaron from the band is here to tell us all about it. Aaron, it's good to catch up with you again.
Hey, Hudson, good to see you again, of course.
Yes. Before we get to talking about the new album and your new song, North Star, I noticed you definitely have Audio Feed Festival, summer festivals coming up this summer. And so my first question is, what is your festival food weakness?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I feel like if I was at a festival in general, it would probably be like if there was like boardwalk fries or something.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Because if I was at a festival, like just on my own, that would be something I would be looking forward to. But in general, like I'm pretty disciplined with what I eat. And I generally, when I'm at a festival, it's because we're playing. And generally, I don't eat much of anything till after we play. And like literally you could have boardwalk fries the whole way down. And I just would, I already know what I would feel like if I ate them and then played. So It wouldn't tempt me at all. But if I was there as a concert goer, that's probably what I'd be excited about. Some kind of loaded boardwalk fry situation.
I was actually curious about that because I know it must be different when you're a band at a festival, the food situation. Sometimes you see bands just walking around, but usually it's got to be different. So yeah, I can imagine eating boardwalk fries before a show sounds like that could be a disaster.
Yeah, when you're playing every night, like you're literally like you're engineering like months in advance for that. Like, you're practicing musically, but you're also trying to make sure your fitness and your breathing is right. And so and at this point, yeah, if I eat anything or it's just super light, like I like to be mentally and I like to be emotionally, physically, in every way hungry, like metaphorically even. I want to be hungry when I get on stage.
This is why some bands just don't make it, because they don't have that discipline to be able to eat right before a show, you know?
Nah, those dudes aren't hungry.
Yeah.
They're not hungry.
So I saw you guys too. You just got signed to Tooth and Nail Records, which feels like it's pretty huge. Did you guys do anything to celebrate?
It happened 4 years ago. So yes, we did. But like we signed 4 years ago as we were starting to write this record and had every intention of the record coming out in like late 21 or 22.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of stuff just happened. Like life gets in the way and all of it was good stuff. Like I had a baby, we had some health stuff. There was obviously COVID, all that happened. And we knew that signing, we were on Face Down forever, and that is always will be family for us. Jason and Virginia and Davey and Shannon, everybody there, still close friends to this day. But there was just a moment where our management was like, I think there might be an opportunity for you guys to do something different. And we hadn't changed anything in like a decade. And so we reached out to Tooth and Nail, which we've, had friendships with them for a long time. We've toured with their bands and been friends. And so when it came up, it was awesome. And then it's just taken forever to finish the record the right way. We knew we wanted to do everything right. Like you don't get a chance to kind of start again. And we've kind of felt like it was. So a few weeks ago, we got together for a final, like getting pictures, and we went out to like really nice Japanese food. And it was like this moment where we're like, we did it. Like we, not only did we know a full length was going to be a lot of work, but then it was like, at least 2 years more than we thought. So we ordered everything we wanted that night at Japanese. If they had boardwalk fries, Hudson, you better believe I would have had them.
Of course. That is awesome. Well, I guess a very then belated congratulations on your signing with Tooth and Nail. But I know those things take time. I actually just recently was talking to another artist who told a very similar story, not of the Japanese restaurant, but of it just takes so much time for it to go from putting pen to paper to everybody knows about it. So...
yeah, and it was definitely on us. Like they were like, yeah, we'll announce you once the first single's ready. And we're like, great. If we'd have known then, we'll see you in 4 years. But, so it's exciting to be sharing. It's kind of surreal because we've been living with these songs and like chipping away at them for so long until they were right. And they just weren't right until this past winter. And so it's exciting to finally be sharing with everybody. And yeah, I've got friends from high school. They're like, you signed Tooth and Nail? And I'm like, yes, this is exciting. And I have to remember that it is new,
Yeah, totally. So the first new song from the album, L'Oreal, which is coming out on June 28th, is North Star. You also have a music video for it. We've added that to RadioU TV. And I feel like you guys always bring it with your music videos. Give us the story, particularly for North Star, of the song and that music video coming together.
Yeah, really this song, like, I always say like songs, like they do grow out of one moment, but then they're never just one thing. Like by the time you put all the work in and like layer, it's like, well, is this song about X? It's like, yeah, but it's also about all these other things that affect it. So it really sort of grew out of watching my wife, who I would have said before I couldn't respect or love her any more than I already did, watching her do a lot of work in therapy, like on her traumas and stuff. And just watching her blossom even more, and like, wow. And it was something of her own accord. She was like, I think I got some stuff to work through that would make me even healthier. And I, at the time, was like, that's awesome. Like, it wasn't like we weren't going through anything. So it was like, great. And watching just the last, 6 or 7 years, her blossom even more. And then the way that made her stronger for us as a couple, like, when you're in a marriage, you take turns kind of being the person who needs help or doing the helping.
Right.
And so watching her go through that was super encouraging. And then that obviously made me think about a lot of ways in which we are given the gift of being able to at times lend the courage to someone they don't have, or the strength to someone they don't have, or bear a struggle with them. And watching people, when you do the work in your own life, how you're able to become more healthy and be an even better friend and family member to everyone around you. And so it kind of started there. It's about, 20 other things as well. Yeah. But that's where it started. And if you ask her, she'll say it's her song. But my hope is that you feel the same way too when you hear it, that it feels like it's your song.
Yeah. I like that. I like that's a very encouraging story behind that. And it feels like it adds a lot. So now I feel like I'm going to listen to the song in a whole new way after hearing that. Last thing here is the new album. It comes out on June 28th, L'Oreal. What do you hope people take away when they get to hear the album for the first time and then continue to go through it time after time?
Yeah, so it's not a themed record in the sense that there's like one thing, but when you look back after you make 10 songs, you can see there's a theme to your, the season of your life.
Yeah.
And so I really hope the thing people will take is like sort of like hope and joy, like after like after you lose your innocence, like after you are old enough to have gone through and take some real hits in life and go through some trials and struggle. I mean, our last two records were about doubt and pain. And this record is okay. After you've been through that, now what? And I'm a firm believer that like cynicism, to me, it makes sense, but it also is like kind of agreeing to die early. And so I think that there's like a new level of joy and peace and hope that can come like after you've walked through all that stuff. There's a new depth to it. And this record is sort of, it's a joyful record. It's a hopeful record. It's empowered. And after two kind of struggling, angry records, it just was the record that wanted to write itself. And I mean, I wrote these songs for myself, but I really hope that, I really feel like other people already are responding that it's for them too. And so I hope they'll take away that like encouragement, that hope, that joy after the tragedy, after the trauma, that you can grow again, you can find life and hope and light again.
I really love that. I cannot wait for the new album. I've already listened to North Star several times, and every time I feel like it's grown on me every time. I liked it at first, but I like it even more now. And again, after hearing the story, I feel like I'm going to like it even more. And so just can't wait to hear what else you have to come. So looking forward to it. Aaron, thanks for spending some time with us today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope everybody will go ahead and pre-order, pre-save L'Oriella, and love it when it comes out. Hopefully we'll see you on the road somewhere.
Get your popcorn ready. It's our weekend tradition here on the Hudson Show, the weekend watch list, letting you know what movies are new in theaters and at home this weekend. So maybe you can find something to watch. We'll start in theaters. Really only one really notable new release in theaters or at home this week, and that is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is absolutely noteworthy. The description goes, many years after the reign of Caesar, a young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past and make choices that will define a future for apes and humans alike. Somewhat shockingly to me, the reviews for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, fairly positive. It has an 82% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, which, we saw with Godzilla vs. Kong. The critics not always so excited to give these kind of sci-fi type of movies, these sci-fi blockbusters, some good marks. So glad to see the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes getting good reviews. For me personally, I would love to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan, so I have high hopes for this. But maybe that's not for you. There's not much new on streaming that's truly new, but there is a movie that I have that I've seen that is now on Max. That's The Iron Claw, which tells the story of the Von Erich brothers as they make history in the highly competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Through tragedy and triumph, the brothers seek larger-than-life immortality on the biggest stage in sports. That one actually came out last year, somehow got shut out at the Oscars, didn't even get nominated. Even Zac Efron, who did a great job as the Kevin Von Erich, the lead actor in the movie. 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. And a thumbs up from Hudson. If you're looking for something to watch on Max, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, that might be a good choice for you. If you get to see anything good this weekend, let me know at 8772 RadioU. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.